Everyone's moving these days. Red states, blue states, please don't move here states. But while everyone obsesses over Florida and Texas, a quieter story is happening. Places that are cheaper, safer, and just better to live in. Somewhere right now, you can buy a house under $180,000. Somewhere else, unemployment is basically a myth. Another place has mountains, Wi-Fi, good beer, and no influencer culture. Think you know the best cities? Let's prove you wrong. Today, 10 unseen states people should actually consider in 2025. Not trendy, practical, not flashy, livable. And yes, you might end up happier. No pressure, let's go. Oh, and before we start, if you like real data, dark humor, and a little too much truth about America, hit subscribe, because the algorithm sure won't. Let's break it down. Iowa, the introvert's paradise. Iowa sounds like corn, tractors, and the Depression-era pronunciation of Des Moines. But for introverts and remote workers, it's low-key heaven. Median home price about $215,000. Cost of living roughly 11% below the national average. Des Moines rents around $950 for a one-bedroom. Unemployment sits near 3% with surprising growth in tech, healthcare, and finance. What you get: quiet streets, short commutes, space between neighbors, and the tragic benefit of not hearing your neighbor's midnight TikTok auditions. Weather is the trade-off. Tornado watches and winters that will make your boots cry. But for peace and pocketbook, Iowa is a tactical nuke of practicality. New Hampshire, freedom plus maple syrup. Live free or die sounds dramatic until you realize it means no income tax, no sales tax, and a quality of life that's rare in the Northeast. Median home price roughly $360,000, which is highish, until you compare to Boston or New York. Cost of living is near national average. Unemployment about 2.4%. Low crime, great schools, mountain towns, and 45 minutes to the ocean. It's New England without the bank account punishments, independent people, strong local economies, and winters with blizzards that come with names. If you want freedom and clean air, and can shovel a driveway, this is a winner. Arkansas, nature's underdog. Forget the Walmart jokes. Arkansas is cheap, scenic, and full of outdoors life. Median home price around $190,000. Cost of living at 12% below the national average. Unemployment near 3%. Cities like Bentonville and Hot Springs have trails, rivers, and surprisingly modern economies. Downside, summer humidity and very competent mosquitoes. Upside, you can kayak before lunch and still afford rent. In short, outdoor lovers plus wallet relief. Wisconsin, cheese, beer, jobs. Yes, it's cheese and it's cold, but Wisconsin offers real value. Statewide median home around $270,000, cost of living 7% below national average. Unemployment, 3.2%. Madison and other mid-sized cities have thriving healthcare, manufacturing, and a growing tech scene. Crime is localized. Milwaukee has some rough zip codes, but many Wisconsin cities are safe and community-driven. You get festivals, coffee that doesn't make you cry, and comfort that's affordable. Trade-off? Winter will humble you, but you'll be warm in a house you actually own. Alabama, don't sleep on the South. Alabama's stereotype ends where its data begins. Median home around $210,000. Huntsville's market is stronger. Home prices closer to $280,000, but with booming aerospace and tech jobs. Cost of living was 13% below national average. Huntsville alone has a concentration of engineers that rivals Austin. Yes, it's humid. Yes, the bugs are ambitious. But you get fast internet, low rents, and real career paths. It's barbecue and rockets in the same afternoon. And that's oddly attractive. Quick detour. Wisconsin actually has more lakes than Minnesota. Minnesota is embarrassed. Also, shout out to anyone still here who survived the mosquito rant. Respect. Idaho, potatoes and peace of mind. Idaho isn't just potatoes. Its clean air, safe streets, and remote work-friendly cities. Boise's median home price spiked, around $430,000, but statewide cost of living is near or just under the national average. Rent in nearby Nampa Meridian can still be reasonable, $400 for 2 beds. Violent crime is 41% lower than the national average. Jobs in health, tech, and trades are growing. Boise is the spiritual rehab center for burned-out Californians. Coffee shops, trails, and Wi-Fi that still works. South Dakota, quiet, quirky, affordable. Mount Rushmore and open skies, yes, but also serious economic perks. Median home price named $290,000, cost of living more 10% below national average, and no state income tax. Sioux Falls has lower violent crime than many U.S. cities. Jobs in healthcare, energy, and finance are up. Unemployment around the 2.2%. The trade-offs: wind that will rearrange your trash cans and the valid suspicion that quiet is often underrated. But owning a home before 40? Much more realistic here than on the coast. Maine, the chill corner of America. Lighthouses, lobster, fog. But also safety, nature, and surprisingly solid job growth. Median home about $330,000. Lower inland. Crime is among the lowest in the U.S. Sectors like biotech, healthcare, and remote work are expanding. Cost of living is slightly above average, but value is high. Clean air, real food, and local culture. Weather? Brutal winters, but worth it for summer and the peace. Portland's food scene alone is a valid reason to visit, then never leave. Kentucky, bourbon and big potential. More than horses and bourbon. Kentucky has affordable cities and growing job markets. Median home, $210,000 statewide. Lexington around $260,000. Cost of living roughly 14% below national average. Jobs in logistics, healthcare, and manufacturing, and bourbon tourism doesn't hurt. You get yards, porches, and a community that still trades neighborly jam. Driving can be a character test, but for Midwest charm and price, it's a steal. And our number one, Montana, the wildcard winner. Montana conquers the final slot for one reason: space that actually calms your brain. Median home around $425,000, but much lower in Helena or Great Falls. Cost of living roughly 3% above national average. But you gain massive acreage, low crime. Violent crime often half the national average. And a lifestyle centered on mountains, lakes, and outdoor therapy. Jobs in healthcare, energy, and remote work make it viable, not just romantic. Downsides: weather tantrums, wind, and the occasional bear. Upside: stars, silence, and a mortgage that feels like freedom. There you go. 10 quiet states that aren't screaming for attention but absolutely deserve it. The pattern is simple. People are trading noise for calm, panic for space, and rent rage for real home equity. If you're tired of paying influencer tax for an apartment closet, maybe it's time to consider somewhere that actually works. Drop a comment. Which of these surprised you most? Want a deep dive into any one state? Housing costs, jobs, or where to find the best coffee? Tell me which and I'll make it. This was State of Mind. Sarcastic, honest, and mildly obsessed with geography. Subscribe if you like facts that make you think. And maybe move. Or not. Your sanity depends on it.